Cool. All right. So let's do our run through. So the first thing I want to look at, and I think all the people here at this point, you already know my indicator breakdown. You know what I'm looking for. So due to the sake of time, we can get out of here a little bit early today. Again, we don't have Mark. He's down his computer. But let's take a look at the economic calendar. So last week, pretty choppy week because we had, of course, Thanksgiving, Black Friday, and we're not out for Cyber Monday, of course, but we could see some activity there. All right, where are we at? Oh, let's go here. All right, so Monday we have the PMI for manufacturing coming out at 10, which I don't think is going to have a major impact in the market. We can see a spike in volatility tomorrow because everybody is coming back to trading. Again, last week we had low volatility. I'm sorry, not low volatility. We had low volume because people were taking the break off for the holiday. That's normally how the week of Thanksgiving is. If it's already going up, it's going to stay going up. If it's going down, it's going to stay down because there's not that much volume to push or pull the market. So Monday, we have this report coming out at 10. So for the day traders or the scalp traders in the morning, you should be good up until 10 o'clock. After 10 o'clock, be careful. So if we see the market pop up, market opens up at 9:30, 30 minutes later, watch out for a move because we could be pulling back if the market is already up, or we could be going up if the market is already down. So looking at futures will kind of give me an idea of where we're going to be once the market opens, and then it's going to help me figure out where I need to hop in at if I want to go ahead and place trades to either side. If it's, calls, puts, shares, you name it. All right, Tuesday, we got the job opening. So everything that's regarding jobs and inflation is always going to be important right now. The Feds are still, I think the Fed's story about them still fighting inflation has kind of fell to the wayside, especially with Trump becoming or winning the election and is about to become president. And then we have, Elon Musk and his situation. So there's a whole bunch of other politics that are covering jobs and inflation. But I still think that that's extremely important because if the Fed say that they're not cutting rates this next go around, then we may see a pullback in the market. And then it's also going to question how much of a pullback are we going to have, and then how long are they going to cut or not cut? I'm sorry, how long are they just going to stay still and watch the market? So that's going to be extremely interesting, especially going into the first quarter of 2025. We get to see how the tariffs that Trump keeps talking about is going to look for the market. We also get to see how that impacts inflation as well. So if the tariffs that he's placing on these other countries, is it going to make inflation better or worse? A lot of people think worse. So it's going to be the Fed's job to kind of balance that out as well. So interesting times. Wednesday, we have the PMI. We have PMI and we have Jerome Powell speaking. So, I mean, we had a nice week last week, but this week we got Jerome Powell speaking. So, again, if you want to know, if you kind of want to get insight into what he's going to say, the easiest thing to do is just watch these numbers. So if we beat on both of these reports come out good, the market reacts, and it pops up from both of these reports. Then Jerome Powell's speech may be a little different. But if we get into some damage like Monday and Tuesday, if the market starts to tank because of these postings, then we have to watch out for what Jerome Powell is going to say, because if Jerome Powell comes out and says what he said last time, that means the market is going to pull back again. So we got a loaded week. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we got a lot of activity. And then Thursday is smooth for a second. No, we don't have any major reports. And then Friday, again, jobs, unemployment rate, non-farm payrolls, Michigan consumer sentiment preliminary. We have all this coming out. So rocky week this week. I think the safest, if you're looking for a safe pocket to trade, I still think Monday and Tuesday is probably the safest. Both of these come out at 10. So, you don't have any midday reports or news like this one. We have the PMI coming out, but then right after that, you got Jerome Powell speaking a few hours later. And then with this one, you have a few reports coming out that are staggered too. So Thursday, Monday and Tuesday. I think Monday and Tuesday is good for continuation trades, and then Thursday, if you just want to, after whatever Jerome Powell says, if the market goes down, you may play the reversal depending on the levels and the indicators. But yeah, crazy week setting up, and I'm pretty sure we should begin a rush of normal volume back after the holiday. Any questions on the economic calendar? Cool. Take silence as a thumbs up. All right. First things first. Let's break down the SPY. So which way is the SPY going? And I mean, looking at this chart, the SPY has been crushing it. If you look at it just from a weekly standpoint, but where are we going from? Where do we go from here? Is what I like to see. All right, so the SPY, of course, is at all-time highs. We had rejected at 600 before. This time we came back around. We were able to touch. I think we got up to about 603 and some change, 604 on Friday, but we closed up almost $4, which is good. Now, if we look at the other indicators and we can just roll this back. We can do a little multi-time frame analysis. So we're going to go from the week to the day to the 4 hour to see what we're looking at. All right. So looking at the week, RSI is pretty high. It's at 67, making a double bottom. So we could go up for another test at 70. So we could push this from 602.55 up to about 605. I think that we could have the strength to do that, but it's a long week. And after that, I think that at some point, just be prepared for a pullback. It's been running hot, and that pullback could land us right around here, anywhere between 595 to 600. So if we do a small pullback, it's going to be down to 600. If we break 600, worst case scenario is 595. I don't see us getting back as low as 585 or 590, not yet, unless Jerome Powell comes in and just, that's the only things that Jerome Powell can do. But for right now, I don't see that happening. Also, I see us forming this bull flag. We went up on this flagpole here. We had a pullback. We had another push up to resistance, and we broke through. So with this being the bull flag, this went from 570, we can say about $30. So we could be moving again. We could be moving up above 605 to 610. But again, I think once we get above 605, we're going to be over revving. And I think at some point we should be pulling back, unless Apple, which we'll talk about that one in a second, unless Apple continues its run, because NVIDIA has been pulling back, but Apple, again, was the originator of carrying the market. So, and Apple is doing that now while NVIDIA is taking a break. So if you get both of them together, that's when you get a really hot situation for the RSI, and we could over rev. So, my thesis will become clear the more I look at the rest of these charts. But right now, of course, SPY is hot. The MACD, let me see, crossed over to the upside. We had a fake out right here, but still shooing to the upside. If we look at the stock RSI is at 69, but it looks like it's cooling off a little bit. So we get a pop up tomorrow from that volume. We could be going back up towards 70, potentially 80. But right now we're heading down at 69. All right, let's look at the day. All right, we look at the day. Wait, hold on. Let me go back to the week. Yeah, we could. If that stochastics pop to the upside, then we're going for another ride. All right. On the 1 day, we have 66 on the RSI. It is pointing up. So again, really strong bullish movement. If you look at this, you can see that bull flag forming a little bit better. It popped up, hit this level of resistance, came down. It kind of fumbled at that same level, but then we were able to get a green candle right above that. You can also see on the VRVP that there's a block of volume right here, right where I said that 595 up to about 600 is where that block of volume is. So if we get a retest, that retest should be coming back down again between that block of 595 and 600 for a move back to the upside. So Nice support identified on the day, but just be careful. Again, MACD, I mean, this one is broken to the upside as well. And then if you look at that stochastics is steadily climbing. We're at 75. And again, we could be moving a little bit higher. So right now we're all-time high. So this is always a confusing time for steady traders because this is no man's land, right? We've never been here before. You don't know if this can go up to 620. Who knows? Because we've never been here before. And the strength that it has now versus the first time that we tested that 600 could tell us that we could be going again for 605, which I definitely think is possible. And then we should have a pullback sometime after that. So is it worth, in my opinion, is it worth buying the SPY now? No, I would not buy shares of the SPY. Trading the SPY is something different. Would I trade it? Sure. It has momentum. It's been moving. It's space on the RSI and on the stochastics. It also has a short level of resistance at about 600 to 595. So that's decent. All right, we look at the 4 hour. We see the RSI is at 67 pointing up. It's almost up there at 70 and about 3 more points. Again, it's just more pronounced. You can actually see the pop up, pull back, pop up. There was a chance that this could have been a double top. Went up, came down, went up, came down again. But for this to be a double top, we would have to drop all the way back down to 585. If we visit 585 again, it is easy to play from 585 all the way back down to about 570 because, again, it'll be forming that M-shaped pattern. And the double top doesn't have to be symmetrical. It doesn't have to be identical or parallel. It can be a little bit higher because eventually this has to pull back. Do I think that it's going to pull back first thing in the morning? Not unless something is happening crazy overseas or anything like that. But other than that, I think people are going to be ready to trade again after the holiday, and we could see some volume that pushes this up, like I said, to 605. The MACD crossed over, same thing. RSI, stochastic RSI, same thing. Any questions on the SPY? Let me check the chat. Cool. All right. Next stock. Coin. All right. So Coinbase. This is one, it's a tricky one to keep your eye on. So let me shrink it up. So it is definitely making this inverted head and shoulders that we talked about. We talked about when it came down here to about 145, 150, and it bounced off, completing the shoulder. Once it breaks around, what is this, 340? Once it breaks 340, it has that that move that it can take up to 375. Honestly, I think that once we get beyond this point, 340, 375, we could see a rush of volume, and we actually could see new all-time high. So new all-time high should put us 450, 475, 500, and right now it's only $300. So $150 more to the upside. What does that mean for Bitcoin? Bitcoin eventually is going to break 100K. And once it breaks 100K, I think that there's going to be some FOMO, fear of missing out. More people are going to buy. Okay, it's above 100K. More people are going to buy it. You're going to see about it. You're going to hear about it on the news and social media, all that. People are going to buy. And guess what? As soon as that happens, it's going to pull back. On that pullback, that's the real pullback that I think people should be paying attention to get in. And I think that pullback could put us somewhere in the 80s. I mean, if it gets really bad, it could put us in the high 70s as far as Bitcoin. But then that, again, for Coinbase, what that will do, pull it back some. We could see 260, 240 for another entry. So right now, everything is hot. I haven't even checked Bitcoin, but I know the XRP has been running. So crypto as a whole has been running. So it's going to be interesting to see what other types of crypto, when they run, what happens to Coinbase. Like if Bitcoin is running, cool, Coinbase is going up easy, right? But what happens when the other lesser known coins run, right? Bitcoin, Ethereum runs, Coinbase is running, cool. About the other ones. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens when the market opens, because XRP has risen and Bitcoin has kind of stagnated for right now. So we'll see what happens to Coinbase. But again, I've been saying this about Coinbase since it was what, $60. Coinbase is going to be $1,000 stock. Now we can sit and watch it. go to $1,000. But again, for me, I think that shares are better than options in my opinion for this, because the options on this one, for one, I mean they cost an arm and a leg just for one contract. But two is that it's so volatile. For instance, it's down what 5%, and it was just up, like it just came off of some crazy moves while shooting up pretty high. I've seen it up as high as what 10-15% in the day, and the next day is down 7%. But again, that doesn't mean it's not a good stock. Right now, it's just a pretty volatile time for it. So I think finding a good spot to get in, hold shares, build up, and then just slowly hold as it goes, through all of this crypto mania. And I think at the end of the day, we should be anywhere between $700 to $1,000 per share sometime soon. So Coinbase is definitely one to watch. Let me check it on the day. See what it looks like on lower time frame. I mean, look at that consolidation. That's a bull flag if I've ever seen one. Strong pop up. It is chopping, 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 chopping. And this is make or break. It needs to, you can see again, if you're playing options, you get caught up in all this. These are days. These candles represent days, right? So if you get it right, cool. But if you stay in too long and you're wrong, you can catch one of these red candles or a green candle if you're playing puts. So again, just to be careful to watch it in these areas. We can see what it looks like on the VRVP. As long as it stays up in this area, is good. Once it breaks down below that 280, then that's when we can start to watch it. And again, it gets to this level at about 260, and then it drops 240, 220. I don't think it's going to get that low, but again, what I'm watching is this level in here. So it's looking nice. It's looking really nice, actually. Any questions on Coinbase? Cool. All right, let's look at a few of the stocks in the chat. We got Microsoft. All righty. Microsoft. This one has, I've been scratching my head on this one for a few months. All right. Let's back it all the way out and set it up the right way. Two seconds here. All right. So Microsoft. This one has a lot of potential to the upside. Why hasn't it run with the other names? I don't know. This one has been range bound for a minute. If we look at it, we can see how much volume we have in this area, and we can see that it's been literally bouncing from this lower line at about 400 to this upper line, really this upper line right here at about 428. So 400 to 428 is what we continue to see. And all right, there we go. Sorry about that. All right, back to what I was saying. When we look at it, we can see that a lot of consolidation has been happening between the 400 and 428 area. Now, if we break lower, it looks like 370 is the worst case scenario. But if I'm looking at my chart, I'm seeing that the RSI is curving up at 52, which is good. It's been sitting here for a while, so it's showing some promise to the upside. Also, that MACD is in a really nice place. Potential MACD crossover coming. Is getting really close. But again, for some reason, Microsoft has just been range bound for months. This is what, February? It popped out in June, and then it went right back down in August, and it has been there for a while. If we look at the stochastics, we can see that stochastics is climbing. It is right at 50. The next target would be 80. And then 1 second. Here you go. Next target would be 80. And then after 80, we're looking at 100. So nice movement for Microsoft for right now. But again, are we going to get faked out again? That's the only issue I have with Microsoft, is that it's range bound. And if we look at the lower time frames, that can give us a clue. Look at these lower time frames and see. Yeah, 53 on the RSI. Stochastics at 77. This MACD, you can, again, range bound. It's getting tighter and tighter and tighter. Normally, this is the lead up to a big move. And I'm thinking that, I mean, again, hopefully Microsoft breaks out. I really like the stock. I think the stock is undervalued. But again, for some reason, no one wants to take it above 428. So this week we'll see. Maybe they need some news to kick them off to the upside. But yeah, this one, again, I've been scratching my head on this one for a few weeks while everything else has been running. Yvonne, do you have any questions about this one?
No, I've been waiting for it to break out. I have a contract that ends December 20th.
Yeah, this one, I mean, the support and resistance is extremely strong in those same areas. Let me see. We got another one here. PBT. All right, let's check PBT. Never heard of this one. Ooh. It looks pretty good.
Darius, this is a royalty trust. These are the oil royalty trusts. And a lot of this pump was right after the election with Donald Trump, because with the oil.
It just went, your mic just muted for some reason. Ivana, are you still talking?
Can you hear me? They pay a good dividend as well. But they had expected the pop with the election with Donald Trump, since he's cronies with the oil people. And it certainly did. But there's about 3 or 4 of these royalty trusts that really do really well. And they kind of been flatline with the Biden administration. So they're expected to do well after the change in party.
Nice. Yeah, this one actually looks pretty good. Good find. We keep, yeah. This is what sharing gets you, right? Everyone shares. And you find plays like this. This is a nice setup for sure. Looking at it on the 4-hour, it was just up at what, 82, and it had a pullback, so it popped up. Let me see. Popped up to about 14, came down to what, 12, 13 in this area, and it's moving back up. So it's skating off of that 20 MA. Even if it does pull back again, it has a block of volume that's in between what, 13 even, and is that what, 1340? Is making a bull flag. That's an easy bull flag. Strong move up, pull back, skating off that 20, and it's going to pop up off that 20 again. There's 2 ways to play it. You can hop in, play now, and play the long term, or you can wait until it breaks the top of this 14. Wait until it breaks the top of that 14 is going to help you not get stuck in a double top, because you don't want this to go up, come down, go up, come back down. I don't think that's going to happen, but that's just the 2 ways to play a bull flag. You can play it from the bottom side or wherever you catch it at, or you can play it after it breaks above the top to catch that momentum for my option people. Also, looking at the MACD, if this continues to the upside, we're going to get another MACD crossover to the upside, and we can check it on the day in 1 week in a second. And then this stochastics is in a really good space too at 18. This means that if this stock decides to run, this is going to go all the way back up to 100, which is going to place us at well, it's not all-time high. Let me see, 52-week highs. What's this? 15. Yeah, this should put us around 52-week highs after it breaks out. So yeah, Trump becoming president, we should see, again, oil, energy, those type of stocks pop up more, like Oxy, trusts like these. I'm gonna look at some more of these because I haven't traded these before, so always interested in seeing how we can take advantage of these. And then we look at this, pretty much tells the same story. You can see that bull flag forming again. That 20 is breaking up above all the other moving averages. So this is going to be our closest level of support If we have a pullback, also RSI is at what, 65. That's looking nice. And the MACD is cooling off a little bit, but we can see on that tail end it's popping back out to the upside. So we could see some more movement. I'm going to do some more research on this one. I like the sentiment behind it.
I think there's three main ones. I know one's called San Juan Basin Royalty Trust, and I forget the name of the other one. That's a big player.
Okay.
But they're all Basin Royalty Trust.
Basin Royalty Trust. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm going to leave this one up and do some research after we get out of here. All right, let me see. Week. Oh yeah, the week is just still coming up out of the downtrend that it was in. So really the ceiling right now is about what, $16 because of this 200 MA. We get above that 200 MA, looks like we could be going up to what, 19, and then 21 we get stuck. So about every $2 it looks like we have support and resistance to either side. So again, could be a nice move for sure. Just depends on how you play it. But no, I definitely like what I'm seeing. Good pick. I'm going to keep this one.
And also, from what I hear, is a lot of people will buy these and keep them for life and live off the dividends as they get older.
Wow. How often does it pay dividends?
I don't know, LJ. That's for you to look at and let us know.
Let me see here. November, October, September. Okay, it's monthly. Yeah. Can never complain about a monthly dividend for sure. Okay, yeah, I'm definitely going to take a look at this one. Good find. I appreciate that, Yvonne. Any other stocks y'all want me to look at before I continue with my list? And again, for the people who just joined, it's going to be a shorter session. Mark, his computer's going to take 3 hours to update. His I forgot what he said needs to be updated, but something is updated. Just taking 3 hours. But yeah, any other stocks y'all want me to take a look at before I roll through the last, what, 3 of mine? Oh, let's keep it rolling. All right, Apple. All right, so this is one I've been watching for a second as well. Apple has been consolidating. It's slowly but surely building up volume. Also, I've been seeing that this 200, this 20 week is creeping up and it's giving more and more support. You can see how it's carved out this little piece of the uptrend and it's kind of pinning it up against that resistance, which is actually above that resistance. We need to make sure we don't come back below it. But if we do, it looks like 230 is like worst case scenario. But it looks like Apple could be breaking out to the upside at any time. If we look at this on a weekly, it looks really good. 64 RSI. Again, it's been moving. It is at the top of a bull flag. So been moving hot on the RSI at 64 in the weekly. If you look at that MACD, pending MACD crossover to the upside, it's getting shorter and shorter. And then if you look at that stochastic RSI, it's telling us that, hey, if Apple decides to go, we got enough gas in the tank to take it all the way up to 100, and it's only at about 40 right now. So we got 60 more points on the weekly to take it all the way up here, which means that we could see Apple 245, 250 after it breaks out of this consolidation pattern. So again, it kind of gives hope to the SPY because Apple is back in the #1 seat for the SPY. So if Apple decides to move, it's going to carry the SPY with it, unless 400 other stocks in the SPY are going the opposite direction, then Apple can't beat it. But for the most part, if Apple moves, the SPY is going to move as well, just like when NVIDIA was in that #1 slot. And we'll look at NVIDIA in a second. Haven't checked out where they were, but really nice setup on the weekly. I posted this one in the Discord last week, telling about this setup. So the fact that it's already moving up and about to break out is a good telltale sign that the market could be following. The 1 day, yep, the 1 day is maxed. This is what we were looking at as well. So the 1 day is almost maxed on the RSI at 66, but it is maxed on that stochastic RSI. Sometimes you can get that stochastic to cool off just by trading sideways. So we could get some consolidation at about 240 before we move higher. But again, that weekly looks nice. And I think that's going to be the overall trend, even though we're running a little hot on the lower time frames. Yep, 4 hour, same thing. But the 4 hour is starting to cool off a little bit. Tap 100, what, 1, 2, 3 times almost. And now it's coming back down. So again, is Apple going to break out? It's looking like that has already started. Everything is just high at high elevated levels, but we look at it on the week. This looks really nice. So keep your eye on Apple if you haven't already. And yeah, do I have any questions on Apple? Cool. Let's look at Google. All right. Oh, let me clear some of these up. I've been watching Google for a minute. My bad. All right. Take some of this off. All right. So Google has pulled back from its July highs. It was at about 190. I thought I was going to run the 200 here. It pulled all the way back down here to about 150, and now it's climbing its way back up. So this rejection here at about 180 that took us back down to 168 wasn't that bad. The next thing that we're going to see is Google actually resurface and break this 180 pattern back to the upside. So if it can break this 180 to the upside, we can go ahead and aim for that 190, 200 that I thought we should have had back in July, but they had some antitrust lawsuits. They're trying to rip Google Chrome away from Google, which honestly, in my opinion, if you're going to try to take down Google and make it and go against it as a monopoly, I wouldn't go towards Chrome. I would probably look at YouTube, but I think YouTube is just too big. And YouTube could be its own company easily, but I don't think Google Chrome could be its own company. Some other big dog would just buy it, and then there's going to be another antitrust lawsuit anyway. So I think it's just a whole bunch of BS to suppress Google for right now, while you have Microsoft and OpenAI, try to take some market share as far as the AI run and the search run. So anytime you see a great company down, that's when you want to buy, especially if you're a long-term holder. If you're trading options, that's a different story. But yeah, Google's in a good space, trading sideways, cooling off on the weekly. RSI is at 52. If we look at the MACD is kind of flip-flopping back and forth. It looks like we could get another crossover back to the upside. And then that stochastics has been cooling off again from all of the bad news from the antitrust lawsuit. So Google is an undervalued play right now. You look at the daily, you can see RSI is at 46. Google has been rebounding again. It got as low as 163, 162. Also, if we look at that MACD, the MACD showing a lot of weakening to the other side. So we can get this weekend, continue to weaken to the other side. We can get some buying pressure to come in and save the day, and we can get a MACD crossover to the upside to continue our run up to 200. And then we look at the stochastics. Again, if we need to make that run to 200, it looks like we got enough in the tank to actually get us there on the day and on the week. We just need the bad news to stop. So Google's also making a falling wedge, which is a good reversal pattern to play if you're looking for some momentum. And the falling wedge is just literally when the stock looks like it's falling down the steps, but it's actually going up. So it looks like Google fell here, 170, popped up to what, 178, came down to 163, and then popped it back up to 168, 69. And then if it falls again, easy buy, because this is for sure a floor. You can see how long Google sat there back in October. But I do think that the next strong move that Google makes, and if it breaks above 172, we're going to tackle that 178, and then we should be going for 180, 190 to the upside. Again, falling wedge. We just saw this happen on coin. Look, where is it at? Let me show you the same thing on coin. Same thing on coin that happened right here. So coin dropped, went up, dropped, went up, and then it started to make its way up, and then it exploded, right? All the way back to the upside. So Google, not as big of a move, and we're not on the weekly, but drop, up, and it's trying to stabilize. So if it doesn't stabilize here and breaks this 172, if it drops down again one more time to about 162, we should be ready for a pop back up to the upside to set us back up again for a test at 180, 190. Check the 4-hour. Oh, yeah, that 4-hour looks nice, actually. So looking at the 4-hour, we got the pin and MACD crossover to the upside. We just need some more pressure to the upside. And we can see that Google closed down 28 cents, which is nothing. It was pretty much a flat day. But if we get some more volume, we get some more buying pressure, we can go ahead and get that crossover. And then we should be pushed up to about 172, 173 to see if we can maintain. We got enough space on the stochastics at 44. And we also are looking at the normal RSI at 44 as well. So they're pretty much in unison. And yeah, this 4-hour looks nice. You can also see the falling wedge a little bit better now. It dropped down to this level, went up, dropped down, went up. And it looks like, again, if we can get this MACD crossover and actually keep that pressure to the upside, we should be back up to 178, 180 area. And like I said, 190, 200 should be soon after. Any questions on Google? Cool. All right, PLTR. This is one I get questions about this one every week from somebody, from either social media or person texting me. Everybody wants to know about this one. All right. So looking at it on the weekly, we already know way overbought. I mean, 83 RSI. I'm not buying an 83 RSI on the weekly for sure. Has the cool off. You can see the last time it was up here with at 78 RSI, pulled all the way back down to 70 and a sharp drop. And I'm thinking that now that we went even higher, we could be coming back down at some point for a pullback. Where do I think that pullback could drop us to? So right now we're at 67. That pullback could take us to about 59.60 in this area. I'd say worst case right now would be about 57, 58. I don't think that we're going to see any 40s anytime soon, unless something happens to the company. If something cataclysmic happens to the company, then okay, we'll be back down in the 40s. But for right now, you can even look on the VRVP, all of that in between of what, 148 to 158 is all buying volume. So again, we do have some selling happening up here. Again, worst case scenario right now is about 57, 58, which I still think is good if this is going to be $100 stock. So I'm pretty sure PLTR at some point next year should be $100, and buying it at 57, in my opinion, is still a steal, even though you missed the run from the 40s or the 30s. I still think 57 is nice if this stock goes to $120 next year. So I was just looking at the week. Let's see what we got on the day.
Would you do a leap? Would you do a leap, 1 full year leap on that?
Yeah, if it pulls back to 57, I would. Yeah. If I can get it in the 50s, I would. Right now it's running hot though, and it's kind of stuck up there. It's been up there for a minute. But yeah, if we can get a nice pullback for sure. All right, looking at it on the day, we can see again, I mean, no surprise, overbought on the RSI. We also look at the different levels here. Again, you can see that there's a little bit, like I said, more selling happening in here. And it looks like this bottom level again is what, 57 to 58, where there's a lot of selling happening here. But it looks like before we get there, this could be a bump in the road. We also have this 20 MA coming up. So if it comes back down and touches that 20 MA, which right now is about 59, we could get a bounce there if it doesn't sag just a little bit lower for a move higher. So again, all of these time frames are showing that it's cooling down some. And if we look at the MACD, man, that was crazy move up. But you can also, again, check the histogram if you're wondering what's about to happen. Histogram is showing that the pressure is getting weaker and weaker and weaker and weaker. And you can also see that these two lines are getting closer. Eventually, that selling pressure is going to take over. we get a sharp pullback to the downside, and then it should be ready for another move to the upside. All in just building a giant bull flag. Strong move up, consolidation, pullback, and then it pops back out to the upside. The stochastics is at what, 34, 35, trying to fight its way up after a long way down. But again, we'll need to see what happens Monday and throughout the week. Again, we have all of these reports coming, Jerome Powell, inflation, jobs, all this stuff that could send either the market up or down. But I think anytime you throw Jerome Powell in the mix with reports, one is going to send you one way and the other is going to send you the other way. I don't think these reports ever really agree with Jerome Powell. So if they're good, he's going to say something to pull it back. If they're bad, he's going to say something to send it up. So just be careful, my option people. Cool. Do I have any questions on PLTR? Great. No questions. All right, cool. So again, this session, it was going to be shorter. I don't have Mark. Again, his computer, something's going on with his computer and his updating. Should be good for the next session or the sessions that we have, throughout the week in the Discord. But do I have any other lasting questions about any tickers before I go ahead and shut it down?
Hey, Darius. I did have a ticker. I didn't know if it was too late. I was trying to talk earlier, but my speaker wasn't working. It's Dexcom, which is a medical device company. DXCM.
DXCM. Cool. All right, let's take a look at these. Sheesh. What happened? I don't see. It probably has something to do more with the financials. Sheesh, what are they? Yeah, I still can't tell why they're down. They must have some bad news or something.
Yeah, I was thinking that too, but then I also thought maybe it just ran up from after the election, maybe what could have been the case. I just looked at it for maybe like a long-term option since it is medical device with AI incorporated. But I thought it maybe like this may be another sleeper similar to how TMDS was, how we found that one. So that's how I thought maybe like throwing it out there, see what you kind of see at first glimpse.
Oh yeah, for sure. So I would have to know why. 1 second. Someone's trying to join. I would want to know why it dropped, but it can definitely, that is a large gap that it could fill back to the upside. And it looks like it has some selling that's happening right here in the 80s. Back to the price that's happening right here in the 80s. But yeah, that gap between the 70s and the high 70s and 80s, this could be filled eventually. It just has to gain that same momentum back. Right now, the daily is kind of high at 63. Stochastic is high, so it's moving. And the earnings were good. I'll have to look into, because this could be a good opportunity to the upside. I just need to know why the fall. And then if we look at it on the week, we can see 44 on the RSI, which is not bad. That's the stochastics is at 93, so it may need to cool off one more time, because it looked like it ran up considerably from the floor. That floor was at what, 62, 61? Is at almost 80, so almost a $20 run to the upside, which is nice. Yeah, I'll keep my eye on this one. It looks like, again, if I zoom in here, we can see a wall of volume is right here at about 82. So these are the tougher levels to break through. If we can break through this, then it looks like we can run right into 100 before we move back to the downside. And that downside could be 92, 93. So yeah, this is a good long term to watch. I just don't know, like, they've been killing earnings for a while. I don't know why they pulled back, so I would look into that. But large consolidation pattern I see. And yeah, this could be a good time to get in on a good stock.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I couldn't find what was the reason behind the drop. I probably overlooked it, but if I found it, I would definitely send you the link to it.
Okay, yeah, you can just post it right in the Discord, because I'm wondering what happened. I like these healthcare tech stocks for sure. But no, it's a good pick. Anybody else? Let me see. Questions in the chat. Ty, can you let my recorder? Yep, I did. Oh yeah, Ty, you just getting in here. Mark's computer is updating, and it probably has like 2 more hours left. So we're cutting the session short. Went over a few picks. We are recording, so if you missed them, that's fine. You can watch the recording. Did you have any picks you want to take a look at? I asked everyone else already. I don't know if you're there. Oh, someone's trying to get in. Okay, we got someone else trying to join. 1 second.
I don't see no one trying to join the theirs. I ain't even seen it.
Yeah, it's Jess. She's saying that she's using a different browser. But if she doesn't make it in, she can just watch the recording. It will be okay. All right. Any questions? Again, Ty, I don't know if you're there or not. Okay, I think this. Let me see. Cool.
Just have a good day if you're ending it now.
Yep, I was gonna go ahead and close us out. So yeah, let me stop the recording.